Hi, welcome to our channel. It's our family woodlot in southern New Brunswick, Mike and Debbie Hickey, and here's some of what we want to talk about in the next few episodes. Michael?
Well, the name of the channel is Ravings and Musings Out in the Woodlot, and with that we're going to try and provide a combination. For over 8 years now, we've been trying to restore family woodlot. From many of the changes that have come about through our kind European ancestors cutting heavy and hard and often, and of course climate change is a significant impact that's coming in, and it's already here in terms of affecting woodlots. So the things that we're doing, we'd like to document, share it with people who have a similar interest. Certainly we are in the Acadian forest, which is basically the maritime provinces in Canada and about the northern half of Maine in the US. However, I think many of the problems, because I've watched lots of videos out of the Northwest US universities, the problems are a lot alike, you know. So I think a lot of what we have been doing here can certainly be transferred. We're not going to bore you with just talking. You may wonder why I'm kind of have a little sheen of perspiration, and maybe you'll see some of the footage of how we got these logs here. Of course, we have chainsaws, sawmill, wood chipper, 4 tractors. So there should be lots of interesting things to see and do. We have tales from the woodlot, meeting a bear, seeing baby bunnies.
No footage on those, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah, so we'll have to just wing it on those, and we'll always try and pick up new and interesting footage, of course. 156 acres, and we'll talk about management plans, working with a forester, why there's 3 things that you can do to help improve your woodlot. One is cut trees. I know that's upsetting for lots of people, but it can improve your woodlot. Number 2, of course, is planting trees, and we've done probably over 1,000 trees we've planted by now, and not always successfully. And of course, the third thing that you can do to improve your woodlot is really nothing except sit back, enjoy it, and let Mother Nature do her magic. So we believe strongly that Mother Nature has the full ability to grow wonderful woodlots. But Mother Nature, of course, doesn't know anything about climate change in terms of, you know, what the science says about that. And the other thing is, we're hoping that what could be a 1,000-year project for Mother Nature, we might be able to cut down to say, geez, maybe only 800 years. Anyhow, we'll probably try and hang in and see the end of the completion of this project. Hope you enjoy us, and
I want to see you out here with your chainsaw in another 800 years.
Keep tuning in.
We will have some stories and fun stuff too. Hopefully you can learn from some of our mistakes, so you don't have to make the same ones. You can make your own, and maybe you can share those with us too. So
lots of mistakes.
Lots of mistakes.
Warning I must provide. Safety is not one of my strong points. So this is not a safety instructional video, and we'll try not to provide even much in the way of chainsaw instruction. We'll talk about the woodlot, and we'll certainly be cutting down some trees and so on, but don't take any of it seriously as the correct way, unless
don't do what he does.
Right.
Okay. We're on our way to visit Mr. Bendy. Hang on and you'll see him in a minute. pop out and we'll tell you all about him. Okay, so Mr. Hickey, here's Mr. Bendy. What happened to this poor soul that got him in this state?
Well, Mr. Bendy is a red oak, which means he's a very valuable species for the property, because we only have 3 mature red oak on the whole woodlot. And red oak is going to be a very good tree for climate change, and so everyone that we can possibly promote, save, is very important. So Mr. Bendy was very badly suppressed. There was a large white spruce, I believe it was, right here that was basically blocking them completely. Out of a 20 to 25 foot length, he had only a very small, maybe 3 foot top, which means that he wasn't thriving. So I cut out the white spruce and left him for a year or two, and he was leaning out this way a bit because
nowhere near like this, right?
Because he was being suppressed from that side by a larger red maple that was kind of overhanging him a bit. So in my not so great wisdom, I decided that I was going to take out the red maple too, and so I took him out, and a little to my surprise, Mr. Bendy, for the first 6 months over the winter time, was doing just great. And then late winter, early spring,
toward the spring,
we came up one day, and there Mr. Bendy was with his top right down, frozen into the snow. And
not
so,
looking very happy.
Anyhow, so Mr. Bendy has done a lot of what's called epicormic sprouting, which are these branches that are coming out way below where they were before. He had no branches down here at the time that I freed him up. And out along his length, there's branches every couple of feet. So anyhow, he's also, pretty sure, can't see them right at this point, doing a bit of root sprouting. That will happen in the epicormic sprouting when one of 2 things. One is they're under stress, and number 2 is there are dormant buds here on the tree that will stay dormant for as long as the tree is alive, as long as they're kept in the shade. But if you suddenly expose the tree to sunlight, these buds are now getting stimulated, I guess, with the sun, and they will actually start to grow. So if you're looking at this being a nice big lumber tree at some point in time, this is not the best thing to happen, because you'll certainly have to come back and prune these in order to get like a high quality veneer log, which is not our objective. Our objective is to have Mr. Bendy become a seed source for future generations of red oak. So
hopefully we can keep them alive long enough to accomplish that, huh?
Right, keep them alive, or alternatively we'll have a new red oak starting up from the base. So
now looking at him, he's got epicormic sprouting going all the way across, and he's going to get heavy. I'm just wondering what would happen if you kind of cut him off at about the 8 or 10 foot. Would he then?
Ooh.
Sorry, that just occurred to me. We won't do that right now, right? I'm just thinking that would perhaps allow him to kind of go straight up from there.
It might work.
It's a last resort.
I mean, it's putting a fair-sized wound on him, but again, my understanding is that you can prune limbs up to 4 inches, So,
This is the trunk, not the limb.
yeah, I know.
Might be a question to ask the forester.
It may.
Of course, our forester already said Mr. Bendy's toast, so we're probably not going to make him any worse off.
No, no.
Anyway,
He'll come through.
We'll try and keep him going and hope that he has some children to seed down around here.
But one of the challenges we have encountered in a number of situations, I have a couple of other trees, they were both, I think, white pine, that get very skinny. They're relatively tall. They have just a small crown to them, and the challenge is, how do you free them up so that they can get more sunlight without having them go
without getting missed.
You know, so that's why they call silviculture the art and science of trying to grow your trees, and it's the art part that
that's a bit tricky.
You learn by getting out there and making mistakes.
Hang in there, Mr. Bendy.
Good luck, big guy, little guy. We're cutting down a couple of trees here today. A white spruce, maybe 10-12 inches in diameter, and we're also going to be removing a white ash. Basically, we want to free up this larger white ash, trying to keep them healthy and as strong as possible, because we're obviously anticipating the possibility of the emerald ash borer coming by someday.
What's the emerald ash borer, Mikey?
It's well, anyone in the Northwest, Ontario, and along the U.S. border knows the emerald ash borer. It's a combination of it's basically a bug that can wipe out white ash in 1 to 2 years.
Okay, that's not good.
No, it's not good at all. And right now, the closest presence, as the crow flies, is probably no more than 60 miles, 100 kilometers away. And although it doesn't by itself travel very rapidly, if somebody hauls firewood, right now, of course, Oromocto, where it is closest, is a restricted area for moving firewood. But if people disobey that, and bring a load of firewood down into this neighborhood, then we could have it tomorrow. As you may have noticed, the white ash is one of the limmiest, one of the worst trees to work with.
White ash? White spruce.
White spruce, sorry.
That ash doesn't look too limmy.
No, that's true. Yeah, the white spruce. Anyhow, because they're so grown together, and the white spruce is actually embedded in part of the white ash, these trees have to go together. The other reason why they go together is I'd have to force that white spruce out across this trail, and then I have to clean up the mess. So that's what we're going to do. Ah.
Crash.
Nice what?
Nice crash. So, did that go the way you wanted it to?
Pretty much exactly.
Yay, good job. Well, trees down. Nobody get injured. How'd it go, Michael? More or less like you planned?
Actually, surprisingly, yeah, not bad. Yeah, they pretty much had to go together since they were so entwined. So yeah, I'm reasonably pleased.
So what happens next?
Well, now the real hard work starts because bucking this up and probably all of this will get split up into firewood. And that of course means, you know, with me and an axe, hand splitting it all, and then of course loading it into Ralphie and then hauling it out and stacking it and so on. And that's where the good stuff for me starts, because that's what I need to try and not get any older than I already am.
Or you already have to.
You're right.
So most of this ends up as firewood. Some of it ends up as other things. There's the ash. We did a, well, not we, Michael did a lovely ash shelf for our daughter last year, so it does sometimes get used for other things.
Oh yeah, yeah, and certainly, particularly the bigger white spruce. This one's too small and too real ugly to turn into saw material, but lots of the white spruce, the bigger stuff, certainly ends up in the sawmill.
And you won't be doing that for a while.
Nope, no sawmilling in cold weather.
Not because it's too cold.
It isn't?
Well, no, it's not that. It's that you prefer to do it in the heat when you can't be doing this.
Well, it's lighter work versus this. So yes, you can do it when it's warmer temperature, when you wouldn't want to be out here in the woods hauling and slugging and
right.
wrestling with trees. Yes.
Yeah. So thanks for coming by. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you'll come back.
Subscribe,
like, share.
hit the notification bell.
Great.
See ya.
We'll be back.
Yeah.